Here we have the Dell Ultra Sharp. Let me try to remember the model number, U2725QE. This is a 4K monitor with 120 Hertz and a Thunderbolt hub. It runs on Thunderbolt 4, and we are going to unbox it and have a look at it. Straight away, let's just get right into it. So let's just see what's inside. We get the power cord, which I quite like this because it doesn't have one of those big, ominous, cumbersome bricks. It's just one cable that goes straight in, provides 140 watts of power. Then we have 3 cables here. The first one being DisplayPort. Yep, that makes sense. Then we have USB-C to USB-C, presumably Thunderbolt 4, which you can use to power your device as well, and USB-A to USB-C. This would be the stand that will hold it. And here is the stand itself. The way we're going to do this is to just put this in here, and then you just tighten the screw, and that should be it. And that's it. That's done. There's the stand ready to go. I love how seamless that was. All done. Now let's get the monitor out. We can actually take a look at the ports now that we have the upside down view. This is probably the best way to do it. So if you look underneath, we have the power input here. There is HDMI, DisplayPort. Now these are covered, but let me take them out. That is another DisplayPort. We have a USB-C. Then this is USB-C that will provide the 140 watts power to your device. Another USB-C as well, 3 USB-A ports, another USB-A, and an Ethernet, which is actually 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. So you can use this as a hub. There's enough ports here to help you. Also, something really cool about this is if you take this off, this sticker, now I'm showing you this upside down, but this pops out. It's 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port. And basically it tucks in. So when the monitor is set up, you can just click it and then you don't have to access any ports from behind, which is a really cool addition. So to connect, might as well show you while I'm doing it. You will just click in. That's literally it. Now it's ready to go. But before we plug anything in, let's look at the adjustability of this. Now it can tilt backwards a little bit higher if you want it angled, or inwards, which is a very odd angle to have. It can also go down to almost being flush with the table, and then all the way up, which is a pretty decent range of motion. It can also turn all the way vertically if you are someone that likes to have your screens vertical, but pretty much can turn all the way around 360, which provides for adjustability, but I'm going to keep it about there in the middle range. Well, now that we are connected, we can look through some of the settings, which you can access just by clicking the little button behind. There are quick settings here for brightness, contrast, preset modes, picture-in-picture, USB switch, and your input source. If you click up, then it provides the full menu of options, which you can see. First and foremost, our brightness and contrast. I'm just going to go through these quite quickly, but in case you're curious, there are a lot of settings. Input source, Thunderbolt, that is what we are in right now. DisplayPort, HDMI, you can change different contrast settings. Rename your inputs, change when PC sleeps. There are options for Thunderbolt. There are options for DisplayPort. There's just a lot of options. Color, we have our preset modes. We can change the color format and reset the color. Display, we can do the aspect ratio, sharpness, response time, turn on HDR, and so on. Different sync settings. We have picture-in-picture, which I don't need. USB, we can DisplayPort assign to USB-C. HDMI, we can, wow. Or we can assign to Thunderbolt. Show KVM setup guide. Menu, these are just your general language timer locks and such. Personalize, shortcut key guide. Okay, so that is for below where you have the different options in the shortcut. I don't really need to change those. They're fine as they are. You can adjust those anyway and change your direct keys. Oh, that's pretty cool as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, change. That is what it looks like behind. That's what I'm actually pressing. Then we have others, DDC/CI. I actually don't know what that is, so if anyone wants to enlighten me, please let me know. LCD conditioning, self-diagnosis, and color calibration reports. So there is a lot going on. If you really want to, you can spend some time in here, but just a lot of customization, which is what we like. But there it is, connected to my Mac. Something else to note is when you are inside the Mac settings, you can use a program like the Better Display tool, as you can see here. And what this will allow you to do, I'm just going to zoom it in ever so slightly, is, so once you have connected this device to your Mac, you can use this app, which is a Better Display tool, and it allows you to change now this does not change the resolution. It is still 4K. It's just to do with the scaling. You do need to have HIDPI on because this is how Macs scale. And as you can see, I'm at 2048 by 1152. I find that a good range because it's not too scaled, it's not too large or big. So if you were to go to 1920 by 1080, again, this is just scaling, it's still 4K. I find it quite big, but I am going to just make it a little bit better, more suited to me at 2048 by 1152. And this allows you to have just more adjustability when you're utilizing your Mac. What I will say, some of the specs, I haven't mentioned the specs, I realize. So we have a 4K display, we have 120 Hz refresh rate. Then we have USB-C, which is Thunderbolt 4, and that provides 140 watts of power that we mentioned. There is a 3000:1 contrast ratio. It's an IPS monitor. Now that contrast ratio just means that the blacks are deeper and darker. So if you are doing a lot of reading on this, it is helpful. As we went through, we have HDMI, DisplayPort, several USB-C and USB-A ports. The USB-A ports are, I believe, 10 gigabit per second because they're 3.2. So really high quality. You have all the ports that you could ever need, all the displays you could ever need. It also does daisy chain. The finishings are they do feel quite premium, especially because this is a premium monitor. So I would say that you do get a very sleek design that does look good on your desk, particularly if you have two next to each other, able to be personalized and adjustable and very free flowing if you did want to make changes. Now I'm going to show you how it looks. You best believe I'm going to be putting some fantastic motoring content from my channel Talking Talk. Now, as we can see, the display is very sharp. It's exactly the way that I expected it to be with the IPS panel. Some other panels like VA panels, perhaps they're a little bit better for gaming, but IPS, because this is mostly for day-to-day business use, but also utilizing it for video editing and such, I did want that IPS panel. Obviously OLED is far more expensive and I think I can live without it for now. But as we can see, the colors do pop quite nicely. The blacks are noticeably just a little bit darker, a little bit deeper and richer, thanks to that 3000:1 contrast ratio. If you are on it for many hours, it does try to minimize the blue light. It is a little bit pricier, but for me, I wanted something that I could plug in with one cable to be able to charge my MacBook. Now there are 96 watts as I mentioned, but I really wanted 140 because that provides the best charging experience for my MacBook Pro and provides the most power, but also just has so many ports. And I think that's one of the big benefits is that there's just so many ports you can utilize. I don't need a dock. I can just plug it straight into this and I don't have to use DisplayLink or anything else like that. So I'm very happy with this. To be honest, for me, once you go to a higher refresh rate, it just makes a world of difference. But for daily use, for me, just scrolling through web pages, it's so much more fluid. And because my MacBook Pro does have a 120 Hz display, now I have continuity between my MacBook and my displays. So I don't have to have the jittery 60 Hz displays that I'm used to. And your eyes do take a while to adjust when you go from 120 to 60, but when you go to 120, gosh, it just makes a world of difference. It's just so much more fluid, so much smoother. And honestly, this is probably one of the biggest changes for me when I'm scrolling through a lot of documents throughout the day. It's just less strain on the eyes. They don't need to work as hard. I would say if you want 4K, get 120 hertz. It will make a huge difference as long as your hardware can handle it. And I know my MacBook Pro definitely can. We're now on a Windows device just to show you the difference. And it's just as fluid, the colors are just as bright. The scaling is probably a little bit better on here, but not too much of a difference. So I would say interchangeable between Mac and PC, should you be wanting to use one or the other. But overall, the colors are great. It's very sharp, and the eye comfort features are pretty good. I mean, I am on a computer all day for my job. I have noticed that there is less of a strain utilizing this device. I think it's a mixture of the contrast ratio, the panel, as well as the refresh rate and the high resolution that's just allowed my eyes to work a little bit less, which has been fantastic. Now, I thought it would be cool just to show you a little bit of gaming. Not that I'm a very big gamer or a very good one at all. I thought it would be cool just to show you what it's like. Let's just see. Oh, yep. Okay, that's me just being attacked by books. Very cool. It allows you to have those really bright colors, those really dark blacks, those deep blacks, a really good contrast ratio. The refresh rate is great, far more. I don't think I can ever go back to 60 hertz, just so you're aware. I'm just running around Hogwarts, by the way. I'm not really doing anything amazing. I'm just showing you that this does look really good on a game. Oh, I'm not going to go in here. I don't know what's in there. I've just started this game, guys. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just running around. I know I need to do like missions and stuff, and there's a dude flying around. There's some kids sitting on the ground. I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, so what I would say is it is a really good monitor to be right in the middle between that business use but design use. It's a one size fits all, and that's what I wanted. I don't gain that much, but if I wanted to, I very well could. You can definitely notice the resolution and refresh rate. Like I said, it's not going to be 144, 160, or even 320 hertz if you're that serious. Now you're going to witness me being absolutely atrocious at Spider-Man. Just another game that you could see in action on this display, just to get your thoughts on it. Nothing crazy, but it's still decent in allowing you to run around as Peter Parker himself, causing havoc in New York City. But yes, this is pretty much it. The only thing that I will say, there's no FreeSync. That's the trade-off, providing it has every other feature that you're seeking for day-to-day use, for design. If you are an editor, photo, video, I think it is a great display as well. It has a really good color gamut. The viewing angles are decent too. I've tried from different sides, different angles, and because it does have a fair decent amount of brightness in terms of the amount of nits that it has, I think it's 400. It could be more if I'm not mistaken. So even in brighter rooms, it is able to be viewed with ease. So my overall thoughts on this display are that it really is a great middle ground to provide the refresh rate that's higher than normal, but also to provide the panel that truly is exceptional. The versatility of this device, of this screen, the options that you have with the ports. You have ports everywhere. You have the 3 ports on the front. You have many ports on the back that can just utilize it as a hub and also provide 140 watts power delivery. I think that's huge, that not many people realize the benefits in having that extra power, particularly if you do have a high-end device. So I would say that to be able to utilize this for day-to-day business, to be able to do a little bit of gaming with it, to be able to scroll day in, day out smoothly and be able to read without as much strain on the eyes is big for me. And also when I'm designing, utilizing Photoshop, Final Cut Pro, those kinds of programs, it just does really well. So I would say that it is a great device to add to your setup if you're wanting something that does it all, a one size fits all. There are other options that have less power delivery and less ports, but for me, I just want more options, as the most amount of options as possible, and the most future-proof as possible. The refresh rate, you can see in slow-mo how the mouse works, and even here how fluid it is moving about. But if you're used to previous panels with 144 hertz and higher, then this will be quite similar. But if you're used to 60 hertz, then this will be a huge jump. And just future-proofing your device to be able to have so many ports, so many options. Thunderbolt 4, which is the highest refresh rate. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you want me to test out more things on this monitor, then definitely let me know. We also can daisy chain it, might get a second one, so we could try that as well. But otherwise, there it is. Appreciate you watching. Please stay tuned for more videos. We've done lots of different monitors from LG, Dell, Samsung, and so on. So it's great to test these because they are important to your setup. So stay tuned for more videos.